Good morning, Frank Watkins, 10th of May, yet again, with Kylie at the moment.
Good morning.
Okay, just a quick look. Yesterday I mentioned that 7,200 was becoming possible. Well, 24 hours later, bingo, we have hit it. Been as low as 71.58. Now, bear in mind, I really only ever take notice of the closing price on the index because that low is a low that is made up of the low of every stock, not at a particular time. Same thing, the high is the high of every stock, not right now it's just touched a new high. No, it's an accumulation thing, so let's not get excited, but we have hit 7,200. Now, unfortunately, the next potential, we come down to about 7,000. Somehow, I don't think that's going to happen, but no point wishing and hoping. We just take things as they come. The one thing I will say is that if we go back to the bigger stocks, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show it on a weekly chart, but if we go back, if we can get back to 2003, it was about March 2003, somewhere in here, we had our first long-term significant low, higher high, higher low, and away we went. 2008, I remember this very clearly, and again, we kicked things off with a very significant low, and we had a high, higher low, higher high, and away we went. And if we carry on to Mr. COVID, we had a very significant low in March 20, then a higher low, and a higher high, and away we went. So right at the moment, you just need patience. Just wait and wait and wait. We will get higher lows on various stocks over the next month or two or three or four or five. The higher low is categorically your best buy setup given the current market conditions. So just sit back and keep hold of your cash and get ready for a higher high, higher low.
Perfect.
That's the only comment. I'm not going to do any scanning, but Kylie, you have a question come in.
Yes, one of our listeners emailed yesterday with a question. He was curious about our opinion on using Bollinger Band analysis in combination with RSI to pick major turning points for stocks and the overall market.
Okay. Okay. This, to my mind, comes out of the desire to pick a bottom. I doubt very much you're going to pick a bottom. If we go back, for instance' sake, to the COVID lows here, okay, this is the index, but if it were a stock, there's only one person that's going to pick that bottom, and it's going to be a total fluke. But let's look at something. I'm pretty familiar with FFX actually, so let's just go to FFX. Now, I need to go to daily probably and 1 year. Okay, FFX today has broken some support. I would be betting that we're at the bottom of a Bollinger Band. So let's have a look. Bollinger, clearly out the bottom. Now, you could look at that on its own as a buy. Some people do. because there is the tendency to come back to the middle of the band. The flip side of that is when it comes out the top of a band, you could sell your stock, and I have done that on occasions. But as you can see, let's say we broke the top of the bolly back here, we were out for another 1, 2, 3 days. So breaking the top or the bottom of a Bollinger Band on its own for a day doesn't mean much. So let's throw an RSI in there. Now, I've got to point out a few things. The first thing with an RSI is that most programs are set to show that area between 30% and 70%. I've never taken any notice of that. I would prefer to see this program set at 80-20. If you're going to use these indicators, you need to do two things. You need to find an absolute extreme, and you want to put that together with divergence. Now, we have an extreme here somewhere, and if you sold on either of those 1 or 2, maybe even 3 days, you wouldn't be too dissatisfied now. But these ones back here, nah, you know, they're peaks, but they're very short term. We haven't come down to 20% yet, so I'd be arguing that the sell-off based on an RSI is not over and done with yet. But I haven't used RSIs myself for 20 years. I find them pretty unreliable. So I sort of come back to what I said earlier on. With a stock like this, you're now starting to get a pretty significant low. Your best buy signal is going to be a high, higher low, higher high when it comes. I'm probably not answering the question the way you want, but you're talking about picking a major turning point with a combination of Bolly and RSI. Well, okay, was this a major turning point on Bollinger? No. On RSI? No. Was this a major turning point on Bollinger? Not really. On RSI? No. So okay, maybe FFX is throw a code at me, Kylie.
Do brain chip. We looked at that yesterday.
BRN. Okay. So we probably had an extreme here. 23, yeah, getting very close to my 20%. So certainly wouldn't have done any damage buying at that point solely on the RSI. The Bollinger is not giving you anything. The peak was that extreme was 91%. That is just a crazy sell. We don't have any form of re-entry on RSI. We've broken the top of a Bollinger now, so you know, is that a sell on brain chip just as it starts to?
Yeah, the RSI is not overly outrageous, though, is it?
No, it's at the top of a Bollinger. I think you're trying to combine two indicators that do different things. There's a very common mistake, in my opinion. A Bollinger, which is looking at volatility, and an RSI looking at momentum. What do you want to find? You want to find a combination of both. I think you're going to be struggling, but to the person who asked the question, if you find an example at any stage, by all means email us again and let us know. Otherwise, with the market the way it is, we just have to kick back, relax, enjoy the show and get ready to do some serious buying.
Yeah. Can I leave on my favourite saying?
Yes.
He who picks bottom gets smelly finger.
Oh dear. Gee, I've never heard that one before.
Just keep that in mind, friends.
Okay, we'll leave it at that before she gets too excited.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, whoops. Just a quick mention of the KL workshop. Just out of interest's sake, I think if you're struggling at the moment, the workshop is probably more applicable. Bear in mind, for a lot of people, it will be tax deductible. Bear in mind, we have a lot of fun. Bear in mind, you might have a few spare days to kick around town. We have had a few bookings. We are offering early bird discount for bookings prior to May 31st and payment prior to May 31st.
And a further discount for ProTrader software users as well.
ProTrader members get a further discount. Should be a lot of fun. We've got some good speakers lined up, and we might even be talking a bit or presenting a bit with a crypto expert. So bear all that in mind. Give us a yell with any other questions. Cheers.
See ya.